Hey, gorgeous. Sorry, Jake just came back and he's like, hey, continuity, and he fixed the bed sheet. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell so you can film some more. This is my last day on the island in Maine, and it was a doozy. So after I woke up, I actually woke up to a text from my boss being like, hey, no one's in the house and the kids are still sleeping. So even though like it wasn't time for my shift yet, I was like automatically in charge. But to be fair, the kids slept like the whole time people were gone, so it was fine. But I took the opportunity, since people were out of the house. I had like looked at the exterior of the house, but I hadn't looked at the inside of the house, so I finally took some footage of the inside, wandered up to the attic. So the morning was kind of like a wait around, play with the kids in the house kind of morning, because it was also another not so nice rainy day. We eventually did get on the boat. Apparently they told one of my employers they were going to the other dock because the water was too choppy at the dock that we usually go to. The waves had calmed down and they ended up coming to get us. And then we got on the boat, and then we had to sit in the boat because other larger ships had priority at the dock we wanted to get to in Portland. So then we had to like sit in the boat. It starts raining harder. We're like, oh, this is great. And then we have to go and get transportation, and the dad boss was like really adamant about getting food at the specific restaurant. And so the mom left with like the luggage, and me, him, and the kids went to get food. And he went inside, and then he left me and the kids outside, and it's still raining, and there were awnings, but the only place I could put the stroller was like between two awnings. It was dripping on us, and it sucked. And he wanted to like eat in the rain, and I was like, I'm not huge on this idea. And so he did call an Uber. We finally get in the Uber, and then it sucks because the guy had a truck, and so I had to like put in a car seat, get in, put in the other car seat on the other side of me, and like entertain the kids who were cranky and wet and didn't want to be there. But we did it, we made it, we went to the airport, we like got everybody out, we got inside. My boss had bought me food. So we got our food at the Honey Pot, which isn't a bad place. The soup I got was the cow soy, which was interesting. So what they did was they had a bigger cup with like the broth in it, and then on the inside they put a smaller cup with just like the noodles that you could dump right into it, which I thought was neat, like as a concept. But also, it just seemed like a lot less food for like the $20-something my boss paid for it. One bonus was that it came with chopsticks, and they were extras, and so the kids were playing with chopsticks. They thought that was super fun because, you know, they're two. And then we had like a terrible time going to the bathroom. Like, the kids are still in the process of potty training. And so, like, you know, this whole trip we've had to like change pants, and sometimes they've like gone pantsless because like, and so and I was like, well, we're on the beach, like whatever, I'll just deal with it. So we're in there, and then like one of them is like opening the door while I am on the toilet, and like the door would like, you know, the unlock when you pull it thing, so I'm like, ah. And then like they're putting stuff in places they shouldn't be, and they're touching things they shouldn't be, and so it was just like a whole ordeal. And they usually aren't. They usually are very like good-tempered, sweet kids. And like that day they were just curious and they were antsy because they'd been kind of just like sitting in the stroller in the car most of the day, or just stuck in the house. So I totally get it, but I was still frustrated. Not that I took it out on the kids or anything. You know, you internalize that shit. Almost as if to make up for it, my boss got me like a Java Mint Frappuccino, and he got it in like the biggest size possible. It was huge. I'd never gotten something so big. And we just kind of waited at the airport. The kids looked out the window at airplanes, but they also kind of ran around a little bit. We were being kind of annoying to the other people, sorry. And we eventually get on the plane, and this was a bad time. So, the thing about the plane, we get on the plane, we go to the bathroom. Again, this is like the third time we've gone to the bathroom in the time we've been there. So we go to the bathroom immediately after we get on the plane, and they very kindly let us on first, since we had kids. But also, the last flight we had been on, they were very adamant that the children need to be in a car seat on a window seat, and then like, you know, like that's how they wanted it to be. And so the flight there, it was like one child in a window seat, like mom, dad, and then like on the opposite row, I think there was one person next to me, and then I was in the middle, and then another child in the window seat. And this flight, they did not adhere to that. So for one, we were all in different spots. So to put it into perspective, the mom boss is like in the row in front of me. She's next to the window. On the opposite side, like a row back, is the dad boss in like a middle, no, he was on the far side, like so on the outside aisle seat. And then there's me, who has one kid on like the window seat, and then I'm in the middle and the other kid is on this side of me. And it sucked. So we do bathroom, we get all set up, and then like first, before this happens, so we are literally like going down the runway, like the wheels are turning, like we're speeding down, and then one of the kids starts yelling potty, and I was like, oh god, no, we can't, like we cannot get up right now, and he's just screaming and crying and he just wants to go to the bathroom, and then like we're in the air, but there's still turbulence, we're not like fully up yet, the seatbelt signs are still on, so this poor kid and everybody else in this place is hearing this crying for like 15 minutes as he's just screaming at the top of his lungs, and I feel so bad. And as soon as like the lights went off, the dad got out of his seat, picked him up, and like brought him to the bathroom. A little after that, so he puts him back in the seat, and then the flight attendants come up to me, and they're just like, hey, like this isn't okay, like you're supposed to have a car seat by the window, and then a car seat like in the middle, and then you on the outside, because otherwise you're stuck. And I'm just like, well, how am I supposed to entertain two kids if I'm on, like, the outside seat? And no one had told us that, and, like, the whole time we were waiting, like, you know, they walked down the aisle so many times to, like, check seatbelts or whatever, and no one told me that while we were able to fix it, you know? I'm not gonna move a car seat in the middle of a flight. And so they were, like, kind of giving us crap for that, and I'm just like, no. We were trying to, like, get seats fixed, and you just said we couldn't do it, and so we just had to leave it as it was, and whatever. So I was frustrated. And then, oh my god, this one, like, blows my mind. So my employer, he brought my kids to the bathroom, and we have, like, a little mini potty, so it doesn't fold up or anything, it's just, like, a tiny potty. And one of the flight attendants came out with a bag and was like, hey, this is a hazard, like, or some sort of, like, biohazard, you need to put it in a bag. And he, like, refused for some reason. And then, because he's like, well, we might need it soon, so I want to, like, what if I put it in my backpack, which is where it had been the whole time. They're like, okay. But then they still came back, even though we had it in the backpack, they came back with a bag again, like, you need to put it in the bag. And I don't know why, but they came back one more time, they're just like, hey, where'd you dump it? And he said, in the sink. And I was like, why would you dump it in the sink? For one, that's fucking gross. And then now that bathroom is, like, closed because it's a biohazard, because you put pee in a sink in a bathroom, which is, like, nasty. And then I felt so terrible, because there was a family it was like, we'd seen them in the airport because we also had the dog with us, and this little boy who, I don't know what he had, but he was, you know, he was special needs, or whatever the proper term is, not trying to be disrespectful, but so he was like petting the dog, and we talked to them at the airport, and they were very nice, and this little boy had to go to the bathroom, and he very kindly told his dad, like, I need to pee, and his dad's like, okay, and so he got up, and the other bathroom was, like, full, and so they wanted to go in that bathroom. And the woman, like, explained the whole situation to him, like, basically, like, yeah, sorry, it's gross, you can't go in there. And he's like, well, he can't really, like, hold it, like, can we, like, what if I wear gloves? Like, what if I do this? And he was, like, trying to be, like, a good sport about it. She's like, no, we can't allow you in there. So then, like, luckily his little boy was able to hold it, and the other bathroom opened quickly, but I felt so freaking bad. I'm just like, no, this poor kid, he just needs to go to the bathroom. It was like when the kid with us was like screaming they had to go potty, except, you know, the other kid was very calm about it because he was an older kid. Anyway, so I was just frustrated by the whole situation. Then everybody's like waiting in line, and they all know it's like my employer's fault because they heard the whole altercation. So we're not having a good time with the airline, unfortunately, and obviously, like, fault both ways, like. We tried to adhere to the rules, they said no, and they're mad at us for not adhering to the rules, but then my boss also broke some rules, so, you know, it is what it is. It was just a rough time all around. Oh, and then the other crappy thing. So, I don't remember if I mentioned this. We were on the same plane as we'd been on the flight there, and I managed to get in the same seat where the window was broken, so it was stuck open. We could not shut it. It was nap time. We could not shut this window. It was very bright. Kids did not sleep. Could not get this window shut. It was, everybody else's windows were shut too, so it was very annoying that we couldn't get our window to shut. But we were trying to brute force it and nothing was working, so no naps on this flight either. 4-hour flight, no nap. During nap time, rough. Kids were very upset. it was just, I think it was the worst flight I've been on. It was a terrible time. And like, and it's one thing because like we had a bad time, but I'm like, I feel even worse for everybody around us. We were in the back of the plane, but still. So we finally get off the plane. I walk with them for a bit, make sure everybody's okay. And poor Jake's like driving around the airport waiting for me to come out. Thank God, like, so the next day was Monday. And they had given me the day off, and I was like, thank you. after that day. And they're just like, after today, you deserve it so much. Because, yeah, because I'd only had 1 day off in the week as opposed to, like, 2 days. So that they gave me, yeah, Wednesday and Monday off. And then it was back normal after that. But boy howdy, the Maine trip as a whole, great time. Last day of the Maine trip, put it down like 3 points. But it's always hard when a trip ends on a sour note like that. But overall, it was a really good time. And let's see. So I guess that's the whole Maine saga. I don't have anything else unless I throw some shorts in here. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was interesting. I had a great time on this trip for the most part, despite, you know, hard times. It's what happens. So anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!